just a little more food for thought. If you're using a cup and you're drinking from a cup versus a straw, you may run into different challenges. Each one has its benefit and a time and place for it. So we assess for which kind of modality makes it easier to swallow with. Straws often make us suck in a lot of air first, and that's when we open the airway. And we don't want to do that because we want to keep the airway closed. So for some people, using a straw makes it more challenging. Also, then a straw sort of makes you take a larger sip. So the rate and the amount of liquid coming in is faster and bigger, and that can be challenging to swallow if you're struggling with dysphagia. And obviously, being fully alert when you're eating and sitting upright when you're eating is going to make all the difference. If you're taking anything that is like Jello or ice cream, that's often considered a thin liquid because it slides right down. So be mindful of that. It's just considered thin. And then if you're feeling like you're running a marathon when you're trying to eat and you're running out of breath, sometimes it just helps to keep the portions smaller and take more throughout the day. Take rest breaks so you don't run out of air when you're doing that. And that goes back to the challenge with the breathing, coordinating the breathing with the swallow. And of course, you want to make sure you're taking all your medications as prescribed so that if any medications are time released, you don't crush them, or you taking your, if you have Parkinson's, taking Cinemed and whatever may be necessary on time. If you're on a diuretic, you're not taking it close to bedtime, so you're not running to pee all night. It's the same thing, just making sure everything is taken on time. And of course, we kind of touched a little bit on reflux, which is that regurgitation, heartburn, pain with taking something that irritates that esophageal lining. Maybe the lower esophageal sphincter doesn't quite close all the way, so it causes contents from the stomach to come back up. Maybe there's a narrowing, so it doesn't actually open and things get stuck and won't go down, so it's being backed up and coming back up. All that is going to cause a lot of challenges to allow you to swallow comfortably and safely, because if it flows back up, it can very easily spill over into the airway. So again, taking your medications for that. If it's a proton pump inhibitor, make sure you take it. And then work with the gastroenterologist to assess what needs to be done. Further imaging, further intervention, whatever may be the case, because that's going to make all the symptoms up here more challenging. And the listed here are just some strategies you can follow when you are experiencing reflux. Certainly don't eat foods that aggravate it more. So all the good stuff, all the fatty and spicy and acidic and caffeinated and alcoholic and chocolatey and all those good foods, you gotta avoid those. You wanna stay upright for at least an hour after eating and a few hours before going to bed so that you don't lie down and have it all come back up after. And then it depends on whether it's helpful to take the liquid as you're eating, to drink some liquids and wash the food down, or to wait until you're done and drink after. So that depends on the situation. Obviously not wearing tight-fitting clothing to not obstruct anything. And then, like I said, follow up with the gastroenterologist. And smoking can make it worse too. So we talked about some of the aspiration risks, and some of the aspiration precautions to take are just, again, common sense things. You just have to stay on top of it. No talking when you're eating. We discussed why. Sitting upright, going slow, whatever the case may be, to allow yourself to swallow safely.